Shalom, 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 and greetings. My name is Sherry. I'm coming today for Bible lessons that I will be teaching on a daily basis to the 12 tribes of Israel. Today I'm going to discuss something very dear to my heart. It's about the 10 tribes that went into Africa due to persecution, and after they went into captivity, which is America and the Caribbean. And the other 3 tribes stayed in Israel. Basically, I wanted to say that we are the lost tribe of Israel that fled into Africa. But in their time, it was called Akibulan, which means mother of mankind, or Ethiopia. It is time to wake up. The Lord is calling us back, and we must return. We must stop being a stiff-necked people. We must wake up and realize who we are. Times is short, and He is coming with a vengeance. I have come to make these videos to hopefully spread the word and get it out there, because I have had dreams and I have seen the wrath of it all. I've seen future events ever since 2005, and they're very scary. So today I'm going to read 2nd Ezra 13:40 to 45. I'm going to keep looking down because I'm reading it from my phone, so please excuse me. These are the 9 tribes that were taken away from their own land into exile in the days of King Hoshea, whom Shalmaneser, king of the Assyrians, made captive. He took them across the river, and they were taken to another land. But they formed this plan for themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the nations and go to a more distant region where no human beings have ever lived, which is modern-day Africa, so that there at least they might keep their statutes that they have not kept in their own land. And they went in by the narrow passage of the Euphrates, For at that time the Most High performed signs for them and stopped the channels of the river until they had crossed over. Through that region there was a long way to go, a journey of a year and a half. And that country is called Arzariah, which is America. So that was prophesied through 2nd Ezra. And that book and that passage was taken out of the King James Version of the Bible. I'm going to read from Deuteronomy. It's going to be a touchy subject, but it has to be read. So excuse me for a minute. As I read Deuteronomy 28. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Cursed shalt thou be in the basket in thy store. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kin and the flocks of thy sheep. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kin and the flocks of thy sheep. Cursed shall thou thee be when thou comest in, and cursed shall thee be when thou goest out. The Lord shall send upon thee cursings, and vexations, and rebuke, and all thy settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. The Lord shall make thee the pestilence cleave unto thee, until he have consumed thee from off the land, whither thou goest to possess it. The Lord shall smite thee with a consumption, and with a fever, and with inflammation, and with extreme burning, and with the sword, and with the blasting, and with mildew, and thou shalt pursue thee until thou perish. And thy heaven that is over thy head shall brass, and the earth that is under thy shall be iron. And the Lord will make it rain on thy land powder and dust. From heaven shall it come down upon thee, until thou be destroyed. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out on one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. And thy carcass shall be meat unto all the fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray from them. The Lord will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, which is the land of bondage, and with the emerods, with the scab, and with the itch, whereof thou canst not be healed. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness, and astonishment of heart. And thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in the darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. Thou shalt be only oppressed, spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man will lie with her. Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein, which is the White House. We helped build the White House, and we didn't even get to stay in it. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof. Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thine enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. Thine eyes shall look and fall with longing for them in all the days long. And there shall be no might in thy hand. The fruit of thy land and all the labor shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be oppressed and crushed away. So thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. The Lord shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs, with a sore botch that cannot be healed, for the sole of thy foot unto the top of thy head. The Lord shall bring thee thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neighbor thy fathers have known, and thou shalt serve other gods, wood and stone, which is the Kabbalah, and which is the Muslim that's in Israel and Mecca. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all the nations whither the Lord shall lead thee. Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shalt gather but little in, for the locust shall consume it. Thou shalt plant vineyards, and dress them, but shalt not neither drink of the wine, nor gather the grapes, for the worm shall eat them. Thou shalt love olive trees throughout thy coasts, but thou shalt not appoint thyself with oil. Thou shalt begot sons and daughters. Thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. All thy trees and the fruit of thy land shall the locust consume. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because you have hearkened unto my voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. And he shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness, and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. Therefore, as thou dost serve thy enemies, with the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far and from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, which is modern day English. From Hebrew to English. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the presence of the old, nor shew favor unto the young. And he shall not eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed. Which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the incense of the kin, or flocks of thy sheep, until have been destroyed. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high and fenced walls come down within thy trusses through all thy land, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout the land which the Lord hath gave he unto them. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there he shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. That is modern day bondage, which means certificate of sale, which is your birth certificate of today. So basically, those curses that fell upon us in Africa, that's what the transatlantic slave trade, which also the Arab slave trade also happened, because we fell upon, being in captivity, allowing the Muslims to convert us into Muslim, threatening our land and our stability. We were forced. But the Lord did know that we was going to do it. So he put those curses upon us, which our bondage began. But we have a time to change things around and come back to him. Turn back, ask for forgiveness, realize who you are in the Bible. We're the lost tribe of Israel. If you're African American, West Indian, Dominican, Haitian, etc., people of color, you are the lost tribe of Israel. And it's time to return back to the Most High. He has woken me up, and now it's time for me to wake everybody else up. This is a serious situation. The world is getting worse, and it's going to come to a time when we're going to have the men and the women going to have to stand up and choose sides. Who are we going to stand next to? The 144,000 in Revelations will happen. And I hope everyone will be ready. Until another time, until my next lesson. Goodbye. Subscribe. Leave comments below. No negativity, please. And shalom.